That lawnmower, that's it. Stop that
Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know.
And basically told Roach, he tagged Lamar Roach, and he said, "Look, you're not getting that fight with Tank."
A day in the routine of Gervonta Davis while preparing for Jake Paul revolves around discipline and effort. Every training session focuses on accuracy, strength, and quickness. From endurance exercises to sparring, he remains committed and centered. On his mission, each practice reflects his drive to show he is prepared for the test ahead, leaving no space for distractions. Rolly Romero's remarks offer a measured view on the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Tank Davis matchup. He points out that Tank's reputation remains intact no matter the result. As a proven world champion with major accomplishments in boxing, Davis has nothing to prove against Jake Paul. Still, Romero admits that Jake's size is a real factor. Paul's natural frame gives him a physical edge, yet it does not lessen the recognition and respect Tank has already secured.
Paul might be too big for him, but Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or as an exhibition, we don't know if they go at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
You know, some people trying to give, that's fair, some people trying to give Tank a hard time. They're saying he should have took a fight with Lamar Roach or Shakur Stevenson. But when you think about it, do you think this is business and look, he's getting a bag, or is there some validity to people saying that he ducked Roach?
I mean, there's still other options, you know? It's bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him.
Paulie Malignaggi stresses the important difference between experience and size. Even though Jake Paul has gained fame in physical strength, Malignaggi argues that boxing knowledge surpasses raw power. Gervonta Davis has performed under the brightest lights, led huge events, and battled top-level opponents, regardless of Jake Paul's size. He cannot equal the years of preparation, fight intelligence, and versatility that Tank offers. Malignaggi's view relies on the belief that, in boxing, talent, experience usually determine results over size alone.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks
the answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah, but if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris LJ, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public, so there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing. And I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot?
Teofimo Lopez presents the matchup as more show than competition. From his perspective, the fight is less about history or status and more about excitement and profit. He notes that both Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are set to earn massive paydays, which deserves recognition, though it may not hold the prestige of a championship clash. Lopez maintains it remains beneficial for boxing by attracting mainstream interest. Even a spectacle-style event can bring in fresh fans and broaden the sports audience.
Really invested on it, and I'm actually very happy for Gervonta and Jake. I really am, man. It's good for the sport in some way, you know?
So a heavyweight versus a lightweight.
Yeah.
You're gonna fly hit me, yeah. A heavyweight versus a lightweight. How's this gonna work?
Hey, they make it work. It's an exhibition for a reason. So, you know, they know what they're doing. And, you know, shout out to Netflix and shout out to both of them, honestly. Like I said, I think a lot of people in the boxing world are kind of upset. I could care less. I think they're going to go out there and make their money. It falls on the number 8 for a reason. They're going to make a lot of money.
Have you got a prediction for that fight?
My prediction, a show.
Well, clearly it's a show, but when you've got a lot of people underestimating Jake Paul once again, but when you've got a heavyweight boxer who knows how to throw punches and knows the basics against a lightweight, it's quite a difference. I mean, have you sparred heavyweights before?
Yeah.
Competitive sparring in the ring?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, not at all. Definitely got to move. I've actually played around a few times, went through between their legs just to duck around. But yeah, because they're taller, you know. But I think for that competition, that fight, it reminds me a lot like The Big Show, and Floyd Mayweather when they fought in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And will that end the same way?
Possibly. Maybe some brass knuckles in there too.
Can you see Jake Paul knocking out Gervonta Davis?
It's boxing, man. And if it's a show like this, anything goes, anything happens.
Nate Diaz, recognized for his straightforward nature, rejects the matchup outright. To Diaz, the fight brings no real competitive worth. He claims that regardless of the winner, the result adds nothing meaningful to either fighter's career. He describes it as an act built mainly for spectacle, similar to pro wrestling or scripted shows. His stance strips away the build-up, portraying the fight as a circus attraction instead of an authentic sporting event.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think.
He's just too small.
It's just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said if boxing turned into WWE,
yeah,
with that type of matchup, you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's at WWE, so
right.
Like, at least that's happening and getting something to talk about, something to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jeff Mayweather shares Nate Diaz's view with similar doubt. He considers the matchup strange and challenges the reasoning behind it. For Mayweather, there is little sense in matching a proven champion like Tank against a YouTuber turned fighter, such as Jake Paul. Though he admits the financial aspect of boxing plays a role, he still sees the bout as unusual and nearly pointless. His remarks mirror the uncertainty many longtime boxing fans express about crossover events.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. That's fine. He got a big name that he's gonna be fighting, but I mean, it really makes no sense because he's gonna be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's gonna probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
KSI, having experience in the influencer boxing world, comments on Jake Paul's marketing approach. He explains that talk of Jake Paul facing Anthony Joshua was never serious. Rather, KSI argues it was meant to spark attention and misguide the audience. From his perspective, the matchup with Tank is simply another move in Jake's plan to create hype, instead of chasing true heavyweight level opponents. KSI's remarks highlight the flashy and often deceptive side of today's boxing. Promotion.
I knew AJ and Jake was never gonna happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
You weren't actually gonna happen. Bro, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like so many people just believe everything.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like I know. Well, okay, how do I say it like this? Itoma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White winning. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? You just look at a record and go, Dylan's fought many more people than Itoma. That record says a lot. Itoma's like 18, not 18, Itoma's 20, inexperienced, Well, I'm on. Like, I just knew Itoma was gonna just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Itoma would be him and Wilder. I think that'd be a very good.
BJ Flores, who has worked closely as Jake Paul's trainer, takes a more favorable view. He feels Jake's future progress belongs at cruiserweight and heavyweight, where his natural frame is most suitable. Still, Flores admits that the Tank Davis matchup creates new possibilities. By testing himself against a champion, Jake raises his stature even more. This could lead to chances with larger names in higher divisions. Flores views the Tank fight mainly as a stepping stone in Jake's overall boxing path.
That's a funny story. So one of my good friends, Armani, he has been working with Jake Paul for the last 2 years. There was a little time where Shane wasn't there with Jake, and Armani called me up and said, "Hey BJ, will you come down to Big Bear and spar with Jake?" And I'm like, "You want me to spar with Jake?" I'm thinking to myself, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, he's beating up all his sparring partners. I was like, all right, I mean, fine, I'll go down there and do it. I have been inactive. I haven't done anything for like 8 months, but I was like, okay, I'll go down there. So we spar a couple times. After that, they decided I was too big for him, and it's better if we just not do it. And, then they asked me if I would be interested in like working the mitts with him and helping him with the combinations, because I was hitting him with some combinations they hadn't seen before. And I said we can teach him all those things and have him doing all those things. And so I started working the mitts with him and helping him out on the mitts. And he told his trainers and everybody, they're like, man, I want BJ around for the entire camp because I'm getting better. My job is like Shane does the.
Veteran journalist Gareth A. Davies has been outspoken in his criticism of the scheduled fight, branding it a circus event that values drama over depth. He contends that although the matchup may draw interest from casual audiences, it weakens the credibility of boxing as a legitimate sport. In Davies' view, the obvious gap in weight and natural divisions erases the principle of fair play, replacing it with a spectacle built mainly for profit. His argument reflects a larger fear that boxing is steadily moving toward entertainment-focused showcases, where flair outweighs true competition. He cautions that if this path continues, the sport's authenticity could suffer lasting harm as traditional fans may lose trust in its structure. Still, Davies admits that even with his harsh critique, spectacles like this attract massive attention, proving that controversy is still one of boxing's strongest selling points.
I think we've gone out of the frying pan and into the fire because we thought we were going to get Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua very soon. We'll speak to Frank Smith about that in the next section, obviously. Eddie Hearn was teasing it to me personally last week, £80 million on the table for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul. But 8 inches in height difference, 7 weight divisions between them, 5 stone, 70 pounds between them. It's a joke. It's a circus fight as opposed to a disgrace of a fight, which was Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. At least you feel in this you've got quite a poor, very big one against a pound-for-pound, brilliant, unbeaten little un. And the little un who'll come up to his navel will hit him with a lot of body shots. I said in the week to Danny Kelly and Charlie Brooker that, do I mean Charlie Brooker? No, Charlie Baker. That Charlie Brooker's a different person altogether. That he'll be throwing the Superman punch, the leaping left hook. It's going to be a very odd thing. It's called, in inverted commas, an exhibition bout. But everybody in boxing who is a name doesn't mind going in with Jake Paul because they know they're making millions of dollars. And that's the only reason that Gervonta Davis, who's being called the poison little elf by Jake Paul, and it'll be fun in the build-up. Everybody in boxing knows they're guaranteed to make millions of those silverbacks, those greenback notes that they give out in America, and they give them out for fun when Jake Paul fights. So he's not going to say no to it. But can you pick a winner in that fight? I don't want.
Vargas Jr. provides another perspective, centering on the role of surprise to him. The uncertainty surrounding the fight brings added intrigue. He acknowledges that the matchup came as a shock, and for that reason alone, it sparks interest. Audiences enjoy fresh twists, and Vargas Jr. points out how this bout delivers exactly that. Whether positive or negative, he feels the element of shock makes it a conversation worth having.
You know, the way we dress, or this generation, as far as like fighters, they relate to more who's more popular. You know, that's why we're seeing the Jake Paul versus Gervonta fight, which is, bro, that's crazy to me because we would never see that. And, you know, back in my dad's day, but now we're getting this and it's just like, fuck it. I mean, people are gonna see it, bro. So it is what it is, but whether people know him more or not, or me, it doesn't matter. You know, I know that he's coming and he's coming game and he wants to make a statement as well. So we're just coming to interrupt those plans. You know, this is boxing, and you know, I'm so excited to demonstrate my skills. I could box, I could counterpunch, I could bang when I want to, and I'm gonna demonstrate that. I'm gonna do what I want to do in there. Come September 13th.
Yeah, you know, we spoke about this a little bit earlier. It's a 10-round fight. You know, could be a different pace of a fight, but what do you think is like the key for you to get this win, regardless if it's a knockout or if it goes all 10 rounds?
I think just be smart. Be in there, be smart, be first, and do what I do. I think if I try to do a little too much, like my dad says, when you try doing too much, it looks you're trying too hard. So only thing I gotta do is just come in the best shape possible. If it goes 10 rounds, then it goes 10 rounds. You know, we're doing 12 rounds of sparring, so if it needs to go to 10 rounds, we'll have the gas tank to go. You know, I don't know if he's gone a full 10 rounds. You know, I haven't, so it'll be something for fight day. You know, if we do end up going the distance, then we end up going the distance.
Wade Plan contends that Jake Paul has injected fresh energy into boxing by pulling in viewers who might have ignored the sport. He stresses that Jake's impact is strongest with younger fans who lean towards spectacle-driven events instead of standard matchups, though traditionalists dismiss such bouts as stunts. Wade views them as a natural shift. To him, the clash with Gervonta Davis pushes that trend further by reaching mainstream audiences. Even amid controversy, he believes broadening boxing's appeal and cultural impact outweighs doubts over purity. Many experts argue the fight is driven less by sporting merit and more by business. They emphasize that Jake Paul benefits most by facing Gervonta Tank Davis, an established world champion.
Man, that's the circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money in that, involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds, who's just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do to get money, to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He's supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say...
For Jake Paul, the fight brings huge visibility, legitimacy, and financial reward. Win or lose, experts see it as a strategic step to grow his brand, draw a broader following, and secure major chances in the boxing market. The ripple effect of the matchup also reaches other names like Lamont. Observers point out that with Tank locked in against Jake Paul, a second fight with Lamont is no longer possible. Still, this does not leave Lamont without paths forward. The boxing scene is wide, and Lamont has other matchups that could advance his career. This shows how a crossover event like Jake vs. Tank reshapes the usual boxing schedule, producing both setbacks and new chances for different fighters.
Where does Lamont Roach Jr. go from here? I mean, he's got options. I mean, that young kid, Kamel Moton or Morton? He's called him out. He ain't gonna do that. He's only 19. Floyd's young fighter. He can wait for the winner of Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes. I mean, Floyd Schofield's out. Options is what I'm trying to say. And then look, does he want to go down a weight? Does he want to go down to super feather? Let's not forget, I think he's still a belt holder in that division. I mean, Shaki Foster's there. Stephen Fulton is now in the division. We saw Raymond Ford on the weekend. Sorry, weekend fight 2 weekends ago. So there are